Hey y'all, it's Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am coming to you with my Nonfiction November TBR. I can't believe I'm already saying that. Nonfiction November is one of my favorite reading events throughout the year. I will link to Olive from A Book Olive's channel and her announcement video down below if you don't know anything about Nonfiction November. Essentially, our goal this month is really to just read more nonfiction than we normally would. And I feel as though I've been pretty slack on nonfiction in recent months. I was doing really good towards the beginning of the year. And it's always a goal of mine each year to make sure that I'm reading more nonfiction. I think I've pretty much failed at that goal this year, sadly enough. So hopefully I can catch up some here during this readathon. We do have prompts for Nonfiction November. They are a set of words that can be interpreted essentially any way that you would like. So the prompts this year are collection, industry, treatment, and style. So I'm just gonna go through them one by one. For style, I am going to be reading the Histories by Herodotus. I am hosting a read-along of the Histories throughout the month of November. If you haven't heard anything about that, I will link to my announcement video down below. I decided to put this under the prompt of style because Herodotus is the first author of historical nonfiction that we have. And I thought it went along with the prompt because he essentially created a new genre, a new style of writing, if you will. So this is an ancient Greek classic that is talking about the history of the ancient Greek city-states. I believe it talks quite a bit about Persia and the Greco-Persian Wars. It is also apparently very witty, funny, and it's also apparently very beautifully written. I am really looking forward to getting started on this one. For collection, I have debated on this a lot and I'm not sure what I will slot in here really. So this is kind of an open prompt for me going into the month. I'm thinking about The 12 Caesars by Mary Beard. This is a recent release that just came out here in October and I've heard very little about it. Generally, Mary Beard is a pretty talked up historian, but I believe this is her take on The 12 Caesars by Suetonius. And so I put this under collection because she is going to be talking about a collection of Roman emperors in this work. I also wanted to put here The Good Kings by Cooney, which comes out in November and is also a collection of sorts because it is discussing a group of pharaohs in ancient Egypt. So either one of these can go. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up the Mary Beard because I haven't heard too much about it thus far, whether it's good or bad. And in the past, I've kind of struggled with her writing and her scholarship a little bit. So this may be one that I just kind of ask for Christmas or my birthday and not get to this month. But if not, I do have The Good Kings by Cooney pre-ordered. So I'm hoping to get to that this month. I thought that When Women Ruled the World, her book on 6 queens of Egypt, I thought that was phenomenal. So I expect this one to also be immensely readable and just really well done in terms of scholarship. For the prompt of industry, I will be reading The Collector of Lives, Giorgio Vasari, and the Invention of Art by Ingrid Rowland and Noah Charney. And so this is a biography of Giorgio Vasari. I put this under the prompt of industry because Giorgio Vasari was an artist, and he was an artist at a time where things were kind of shifting over from the Renaissance into the Baroque period a bit, and art was becoming an industry in the Renaissance period. And so I think it fits well. He's almost like a businessman, if you will. Giorgio Vasari wrote one of my favorite books of all time, which is The Lives of the Artists. And so during the time in which he lived, he was going around collecting biographies of the most famous Renaissance artists of his lifetime and prior to his lifetime. And so his work was incredibly important and really, really valuable to art scholars and art historians. And I think it is just an absolute wonder of historical scholarship. So I'm excited to read a book that shines a light on him, the same way that he shined a light on so many artists of his own day. Last but not least, the prompt is treatment. And so initially, I really wanted to have a theme for this Nonfiction November, which I planned to do last year. I planned to have a theme of romanticism last November, and it completely and utterly went off the rails. This year, I really wanted it to be revolutionary or French themed in general. I really wanted it to be French, but I think that's a good way to get burned out, is staying in one time period or one country's history for too long. So I am leaving France to this prompt. So this is going to cover France for me, and it's actually just going to cover revolutions in general. I have so many options for this prompt. I'd really like to read a historical nonfiction about the French Revolution, and so I have two options for that. One of these is Thomas Carlyle's The French Revolution, which I have started reading, and I was really enjoying. His language is just so dense. But this was written in the 1830s, 1840s, I believe, and it was a pretty impressive history at the time. I believe Charles Dickens really loved this book, and he used it for his research on A Tale of Two Cities. And so this is apparently a very lyrically written nonfiction work about the French Revolution. Thomas Carlyle, as you might can tell from his name, is an Englishman. And I also have another English work on the French Revolution that was published when the revolution and the terror in particular was going on. And that's Reflections on the Revolution in France by Edmund Burke. This one I'm fascinated by because it actually kind of ties into the Romantics, my theme for last year, because Edmund Burke, in a roundabout way, I believe, knew Mary Wollstonecraft, who was Mary Shelley's mother. Mary Wollstonecraft hated this work. A lot of people did, but I believe she wrote one of her mini nonfiction works in response to this. So it might be interesting to read this and then her work. I kind of, in a weird way, would like to read these chronologically, so I would like to read this before this. I just have started reading this prior, so I'm a little bit more intrigued by this one as of right now. I would love to get the French perspective on the French Revolution, and if you are French or you have read the French perspective on the French Revolution, can you leave me some recommendations down below? I know Alexis de Tocqueville is one that I need to keep an eye out for, but I would be thrilled to get any other recommendations. The reason that I am putting the revolutions under treatment is because I would like to see how different authors treat these historical periods. Revolutions can be really highly contentious, high emotional events, and especially the closer that you get to when they happened, I am interested in seeing how scholarship has developed on them. So that's why I'm interested in Edmund Burke's kind of writing right when it's going on, and then Thomas Carlyle around 50 years afterwards. And then, of course, I'd like to read a more modern history of the French Revolution. It doesn't have to be this month, but I really want to see how different historians treat these topics and these historical periods. The other book that I have for this prompt is my main priority for the month, and I know you all know what it is. It is The History of the Russian Revolution by Leon Trotsky. So we're doing it. We're definitely tackling it this month. We're getting started on it. I'm not going to say I'm going to finish it. It is 1,000 pages long. I don't think I can finish it. I don't think I can hold it that long. But I am really excited about this. This is one I'm really excited about specifically from the perspective of the prompt treatment. I want to know how Trotsky is going to treat this in writing, because Trotsky experienced the Russian Revolution. He was a major player in it. Sad to say, most of what I know about Trotsky comes from Animal Farm by George Orwell. So I think I will learn a lot about him throughout this process. I am looking forward to getting started on this. I might not get it finished in the month of November, but I am hoping that I can get it finished by the end of the year. I don't know that it's doable. I have a lot of really big books on my TBR this month. I don't expect to get to all of them, but some of them are higher priorities than others. Russian Revolution and the Histories by Herodotus are my top priorities, but I would love to get to everything else, particularly my French Revolution picks. If you are participating in Nonfiction November, I would love to hear all about it down below. What is on your TBR? Are you tackling the prompts this year? But that's going to be all from me today. I hope you're all having a great week. Happy reading. Goodbye.